Ooh, that's loud music. I did not realize that was loud.
Sounds
Hi,
fine.
everybody. How are we doing?
Living life, the normal.
Did that jump up for chat too? Did that get like really loud? What's up, everybody? How we all doing? Good?
Yeah.
Listen, my green screen, I came downstairs to like set up after I like took a quick shower. I ran downstairs to set up and I was like, oh shit, my green screen I left down, which is not good to do because you don't want it to like curl too much at the edges or whatever. And then I was like, wow, when was the last time I was down here? Wednesday. Wednesday was the last time I was down here. I left the green screen open from after I ended a super late stream for Lost Initiative last Wednesday. Good
That's
job,
a
Scott.
while.
Yeah. God.
You want clappies?
Yeah, thanks. It's been super
problem.
inconsistent lately, and Jake's been DMing me on the side, begging for his fix. He's like, "Hey man, you got a fix for me? You got a VOD? You got a VOD? I need a VOD."
It sounds like Joey.
That's true.
No, Joey takes it public. You know what I mean?
True.
Joey takes it public. On the side, Joey's like, "Do you want to chat? You want to chat? Why don't we do some scheming? Come on, let's chat. Do you want to set up a campaign? Let's do this. Come on, Scott. Let's do this." Roz on the other hand is she DMs me and she's just like, "So let's talk about how we're gonna kill these PCs." And I'm like, "Oh, Roz, naughty girl."
Have you uploaded any of Inclame on YouTube?
Have I uploaded what?
Any of Inclame on YouTube?
No. You kidding me? Even this campaign only has so many sessions up there. Like I
Did
was
you
just
record them?
yes. Everything has been
Because
recorded.
the
Yeah.
mods would be like gone by now.
No. So as I was saying to them, I muted myself to you guys earlier, just to reiterate for those just popping in or for those just watching this VOD. Aurora starts school next Tuesday. I'm gonna have Thursday mornings off to myself while she's at school before I have to pick her up in the afternoon. I'm gonna be spending that time the next couple of weeks really trying to catch everything back up, to finally like catch up all my YouTube, catch up Patreon, catch up everything that's fallen behind the past 3 years. Is that accurate? 3 years? How long have I been behind, Jake?
A while.
So, chat, how often do
I
you
have no
hear
idea.
this? I just...
Nick. Brittany, during vacation, was like, "So when we come back from vacation, you're going to teach me how to upload your VODs. I'm going to help you out with this, right?" I'm like, "Okay." And then we're on vacation again, and she's like, "So you're going to teach me how to upload those VODs so I can help you out, right?" I'm like, "Mm-hmm." I have to be quiet because she actually is making me homemade pizza right now. So I don't want her to like come downstairs with freshly made pizza, then throw it at me.
Well, I mean,
So
or you could just, show her how to upload the VODs. Like it's. I mean,
never gonna
listen, that's not that hard.
it's never gonna
Okay.
happen. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
It's been talked about for God, how long has it been going on for? 2 years? More?
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
It's been a while. I remember, God, that's been mentioned a lot.
Yeah, right. That's why I keep looking. So I'm like watching. All right. So we really want to get into the session because there's like a lot of fun shit that happened, and I won't lie because we missed last week. It's gonna take a minute to get us calibrated. But Nick, I did want to ask because you're a boomer like myself. I just restarted playing Baldur's Gate's Enhanced Edition EE, because I hadn't actually never finished my playthrough I was doing beforehand. Did you ever play BGEE?
Yes, but, that was so long ago, and I was such a burnout that I don't even remember half that game.
Oh, so because it came out, what, maybe like 3 years ago, I want to say BGEE came out?
BGE? No.
Oh, you never played the updated version?
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
played the originals, but I never did the update.
Gotcha. I wanted your opinion on something, but never mind if you never played. I will say that it does integrate a lot of the stuff very well in case you ever get around to playing it. It does integrate it very well. And even playing the game, it allows you from inception to not just in multiplayer mode, which had a bunch of glitches in the old version. You can actually make your whole cast, like your whole 6 party member parties.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, you miss out on some of the best, like kind of like role player dialogue, I should say, between the different characters. You miss out like some of the most iconic scenes and whatnot, but it does allow you to make all of your characters from the beginning without any glitches or whatnot, which is pretty cool.
That's nice.
Yeah. It very much changes the flow of the game. They added a whole bunch of extra shit inside there and kept all the iconic things like, the Ring of Wizardry and whatnot. But dude, they allow you to be a sorcerer from like BG1. Like you could open up as a sorcerer and then think about it. Right after you bump into Elminster, you get that Ring of Wizardry and you double sorcerer's spells. It's pretty badass. So I would very much suggest playing. But either way, that's not why we're here.
Probably going to play Wrath of the Righteous first.
Ooh, I'm very
Wait,
excited
Wrath of the Righteous? Is that Pathfinder?
Yes.
Yeah, I really want to pick that up. So somebody else is suggesting I play that for my birthday, but obviously that's going to take a lot longer than that to play.
Yeah, I backed that game on Kickstarter the moment the Kickstarter came out.
Yeah, the only
I'm
thing
excited.
I wanted to check on was it as like streamlined time gatey as Kingmaker?
Oh yeah, I think they probably took a lot of the criticism that because there were timers in Kingmaker that people weren't aware of that made it a little frustrating. So like one of the things that I have with this campaign, so I'm going to kind of pull it to this campaign in contrast to Kingmaker, is that in this game, eventually in theory, the game gets a little too easy. And what do I mean by that? If you actually open up the kingdom sheets that we have, you can see that for the Pathfinder kingdom building does not actually have advisor tasks. I loved the video game and I incorporated advisor tasks to make the game more fun for us, the actual cast of people playing this game, right? So I thought it'd be more fun for us this way, and I think I'm correct because it makes it more, kind of like diverse, more character, blah. So, but you can kind of see a numbers creep, right? Like especially if Joey's designing your characters for you. There's a little bit of like you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the max DC ever is a 29, but with a -2 penalty, it's a 31. Joey's like, yo, I got you plus 27.
Nick, you should do some work with Joey. He'll make your followers. Okay.
Wait a minute, Joey has made my followers. Why aren't my numbers that good, Joey?
He only made you one, okay? he made you commander. You gotta ask him to make you a
That's
diplomat
true.
too, right?
That's true.
So
That's all right. Zara's the shit.
So, but with that game, there's this hidden timer. Hey Joey, welcome. In that video game, there's a hidden timer where the DCs start to take these huge jumps, and it doesn't make sense. So there are some tasks that are like relatively simple, and they should be like a DC 12, but the game's like fuck you, 32, and you're like whoa, why is it so high? And it's just because they want to have that like level creep happening on you, So I don't know.
I mean, not to derail it too hard. I played the game. I never had that problem. I played it almost to the end, and I had no problem with the advisor tasks.
Yeah.
The moment the level creep.
Well, hold up. What difficulty did you play it on?
I was playing on like the one past normal, the one where it's like full damage and whatnot. Like
I did the second to last one. I did like not the one that's like we're gonna break the game to make you hate yourself, but the one right before that.
Yeah, but the kingdom stuff was the same throughout. Because that mostly changed the combat of the game.
That is true, but I think it also affected the kingdom stuff.
I mean, either way, but the moment the DCs went bad is I never used my crisis tokens, so I used them for those situations, and then I just bought like +6 headbands or whatever, or gave them to the people, and then it was fine.
You know what one of my big issues to it was as well? I agree with you on that, Joey. That looks fucking badass. Moving on. Because I was streaming it, we all understand, or at least you sell more so than I think Nick or Jake, but I'm sure they experience it as well. You streamer brain, when you're like streaming a game versus playing a game, you're less intelligent, like just more or less like remove 20 points off your IQ when you're streaming because you just attention's diverted.
I don't disagree on that. That's fair.
So I'm crisis tokens. I didn't quite understand what they were for a while, and then I used them kind of haphazardly. But anyways, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole with this. Who can accurately recap us where we left off with this session?
I think I can.
Do you really think so? Like, are you that? You
Like,
just you moved and started college, and you think you got this better than the boomers? All right.
I know what happened last session.
All right. Someone drank their Monster Energy drink this morning.
I'm drinking Red Bull right now. Monster's nasty. Don't drink it. Okay?
It is
Anyway.
fucking gross.
So last session we started off with my meeting with Aaliyah's father. We did some prep stuff, about it, the restaurant location, and I was kind of showing off my power over him. It was kind of the gist of what I was trying to do, showing my importance. And the conversation didn't go too well. Aaliyah seems like she's kind of being convinced by the idea of working for, like, the totally platonic friends to the king or the leader of to the Daelands or the Daelric. No,
He's referencing that in Delegas and in Paradel in general, there is the Daelhair and the Trumbar. They coincidentally or conveniently never got married, so they're able to hold extremely high tier positions, even though by law, two people that have the same family are not allowed to do that. So, like, literally, this happened 2 days before they were supposed to get married. They canceled the wedding because somebody was getting a promotion, and years later spent a lot of time together, but aren't married.
Totally platonic friends, as I said, right?
Yeah. That's the reason actually Nick uses to not propose to his girl. So,
Which reason? I've got a few.
So
it's okay. I support all of them.
So I'm gonna have to probably have another conversation with Aaliyah to convince her not to leave to do that, because I think it's a pretty bad idea and it won't actually help anything. I think.
Oh, is that the route you're going? Okay. You were a little undecided, a little like
Well, like, okay, so if she chooses to go, I'm not gonna go put manacles on her. She can't leave, right? But like, I'm gonna do my best to convince her to stay because I want her to stay, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's not like I can force her to stay. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the conflict of it.
Yes.
So
I completely understand. Yep.
100% on, like, I want her to stay, and I think it's even more beneficial for her to stay than leave. I think it's a bit short-sighted to think that they'll have enough influence to make a difference for Paradel's influence on my small nation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a bit, hopeful, even for me. Sorry. I was gonna continue recapping, but if you want to.
So to finish capping off the recap of specifically her scenario, as a reminder to those of you that are on Patreon, all of the Patreon made advisors that were given to the various PCs, they all have more or less backstory optional side quests that can be done for each of them. Cell did the first one, and choosing not to go into an important arrangement that will impact him, going into the next venue. By choosing not to do that first one, he chose to engage in that little side quest in a kind of like a timed limit that he had to pull it off. So he actually opened the door and went on a side quest. Yay! All of the characters have their own little ways of doing it, and so the consequences of his actions, whichever ones he chooses to take, are very big towards these characters that were made by Patreon. So just as a reminder to everybody that this is a thing that exists, and this is kind of like why this is playing out the way it is. So I'm sorry. Continue to you, sir.
Yeah, and I want to keep Keegan's character around. Okay, Keegan's a cool dude. Besides the point of that,
Keegan is a cool dude, and I feel bad his internet was shitty on Saturday, but that's cool.
For the other half of the session, we
gotta get Nick into a Patreon campaign. By the way, I think he'd have fun over there.
I think he would. I think he could go unfiltered, off the chains, off the rails, rolling.
Well, the thing about the Patreon sessions, Nick, is that everybody knows they're significantly more deadly. Because you are the side characters to the main, you're your own main characters, but you're the side characters that affect the main plots as opposed to being the main plot. So that they tend to be a bit more extreme.
The fact that I haven't had any characters die is kind of insane, considering what I did with Salon.
Luck.
It really,
Luck. You consistently are the best roller in the Patreon games.
Except when it matters sometimes, okay? I'm just saying that Nat 1 fail and a reflex save and it fell off into the time.
The only time you're not the best roller is when Ash slides in with some ginger fire, and he's just the dice just land all ones, and he's like, boom, critical everything. You're like, Ash, you would put yourself in the most dangerous scenario. You should die. And he's like, how about I just win life? And like, oh, okay, or that. But let's continue.
But the other half of the session was Jake, Varix, and Naren. They were on the march that Tessel, or I chose to not go on to go on my side quest. And they kind of talked to people, figuring out some relations between clans and Clan Throne, mostly, I think it was about. And then they tried to like be two badass dudes approaching Throne. I was like, dang, and it kind of failed completely. But you know, it was a pretty bad show. Other than that, I forgot who else Jake talked to. Jake talked to someone.
Jake, can you remind us?
An old lady, was it? I think from a clan that was kind of important. Was it Zinquing?
I think you're thinking about Nick. I
Was it
talked to
Nick?
Throne, and Nick is banging the old lady.
Okay.
Wait, what? Did I forget something?
No, there was an
There's
old
some
lady they talked
old
to.
lady that, you know, I'm pretty sure Naren's now gonna bang.
I don't think that was implied
Excuse me,
at all.
excuse
Like,
me.
what the fuck?
Nick, could you please chime in here and help
I'm
me
pretty
out?
sure it was.
What, man? Age is just experience.
Oh, hello, wife.
God, that's, you know what? How did I expect anything else from Nick?
Oh,
That's a very lovely
pizza. Do you want a slice?
Yeah, me too.
You mean two of the same thing?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So you're good upstairs?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So should we ask her when she's going to learn how to upload the VODs?
She can't hear you.
Guess I'm getting that. In 2 seconds. I don't know.
That's a fat L.
You are 100% safe as long as you don't come on this side of the green screen. Yeah, all of they're safe. Unless the screen randomly pops up, safe. What are you doing?
I'm trying to
Oh, a thing to put this on. Oh, thank you. Much obliged. Thanks. I'm very excited.
So, to finish up the recap, they had a conversation with a leader. I think I have it written down somewhere, but my notes are hard to
Brittany.
find because I'm unorganized.
Bring me a bottle.
And then we kind of meet up at like a
you.
feast, where it's more like it isn't the real true meeting, but it's like an obligatory feast we have. And Tessel kind of slides in and completely fails at showing up with like really low rolls, or no, it was high rolls, but like with a -20 modifier or something like that. So you know, so Tessel is spotted for being a sneaking. Yeah, I rolled a set. No, I rolled a 7, and Ellie rolled a 6. So
Don't hit.
No, I'm just burning myself trying to cut it. This goes right here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Good night.
anything else that didn't cover, boys?
So I am so sorry because obviously Brick came in at that time. Nick was trying to bang an old lady. Somebody please recap that for me.
I think we kind of left it at that.
Yeah, don't mind me, LD. I'm circumcising myself right now. So
Hey, that's an affront to my culture. Why would you do this?
why would we be an affront to your culture?
Because Jews invented circumcision, dog.
Yeah. I was also raised Catholic.
Yeah, but they just, you know, the Americans just copied the Jews, okay?
It has nothing to do with America. It's also a Catholic thing.
Not in Europe, dog.
Oh,
It's
really?
Literally,
Oh.
it's an American thing, 100%. I have Polish Catholic friends, okay?
Fair
They're
enough.
born here, but they're Polish. Okay, it's literally an only American thing, like propagated by Kellogg. No joke, propagated by Kellogg.
I mean, I know about the whole Kellogg being that weird, crazy side religion guy. I mean, I can't. Was it not Jehovah? What was it?
He was just
not
Catholic.
Mormon. No, he wasn't Catholic. He was something else.
Yes.
He was another.
Quaker, I think.
Quaker. He was Quaker. You are correct.
But no, it's 100% just an American thing, and you just didn't know that, I guess.
Huh.
So there's your fun fact.
My
of the day.
apologies. I don't study penises. So
I don't either. I just have a lot of useless knowledge in my head, Doug.
what? I
Either way, not important, just random side bits. as I pull up my notes to see if I wrote anything about this old lady.
The next time you have
No.
frosted flakes, look down and see if that affected you.
No, I just have notes about what I wanted to.
See, I don't. I was born in Germany, and I'm like it's half circumcised. So I don't even know what that's about.
What the heck does that even
They
mean?
just down the middle too. They like left. They wanted to be like a legit
Yeah,
hoodie.
It's,
Like a
it's
hoodie.
only the left side. It's like a polo. I can pop the collar.
Why? Can you? Okay, no more. Let's get
Oh, yeah.
let's get to
No.
no. We're skipping this now. Cut. We're
Okay.
we're
Set
gonna
it
go.
straight though. It's more like Steve Jobs. It's just a turtleneck. All right, let's go.
Stop. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna need to take a step forward.
Oh my god. Oh, oh, that's amazing.
Oh, they tried to bully Zing Quing. That's what it was. And Stencher talked at their own. Okay. Steve's got it right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we rolled
it's a pretty good
terrible.
recap for being a couple weeks ago, and I had to move into an apartment and start school. Okay. You guys don't have any defenses.
Mm-hmm. We also know he has that bong behind him with like the 9 spots you put different blends of weed into.
Yeah, because that's hollow. It's totally not just solid metal. Okay. That's hollow. The menorah is hollow.
Hey, that's a great way to hide it, you know? Nobody ever look
you know,
here.
it wouldn't, because that would be like not even a bong. Okay.
I just flashed back to making bowls in Scott's basement.
It was illegal one, dude. Come on.
It was illegal back then. It's legal
It's
now.
illegal. It's illegal now where I live. But I
That's
don't
just
know any
sad.
of that shit. I mean, I live in the South, dog. I don't know what you expect.
I think we made one out of a
Reasonable
doorknob.
loss.
It was
Mhm.
great. Yeah.
Mhm. But
So let's so we're picking up where we all just convened at the like outdoor feast, right? Where it's
Mhm.
kind of just like a reception party.
this isn't the actual ball that's going to be the next night. Correct.
Yeah. This is just us vibing in the reception party.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of meeting the other people, I guess, is the idea.
Mhm.
And my absence was noted.
It absolutely was. To the point where, again, people just like when you guys were actually walking through the parade, so on and so forth, somebody had made mention of it. I think it was specifically Zin Quinn, but somebody, or no, Theron had made mention of it. But it is known, and other comments we made off to the side that aren't really necessarily worth noting right off the bat, right? But it was noted because you guys got that trio kind of invitation that was sent
Sure.
there. Because otherwise, realistically, your characters just aren't, not your characters, no, my apologies. Your
Clans.
kingdoms aren't, your clans aren't really noteworthy enough to have been invited of their own merit. You know what I mean? So that's why it was
Because-
one of those things where they noticed this. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, but Theron's totally noteworthy. Okay, they're just a bunch of losers.
Throne's bigger and has a lot of financial influence. So, all right. The characters reconvene there, but I don't think they actually spoke to each other about what had just transpired because I think we had to end the session, right?
Yeah.
So I'll set the scene before you guys actually start RPing with one another, right? When you make your way into the where the feast is happening, this is, as you said, an outdoor feast. Outdoors, certainly, and the weather is my apologies. With it being a winter ball that's happening, it is definitely winter time here. I want to make sure that the picture is understood that it is cold where your characters are, cold for the region, right? There does happen to be a bit of frost everywhere. There's icicles hanging from rooftops nearby. There is a little bit of snow in patches here and there in the areas of the city that happen to get enough shade that even the sunlight and the warmer days aren't going to be able to melt it. Not so much snow that it kind of completely covers the ground everywhere, right? So we're looking at winter time inside Southern Virginia, not Boston, So where there's definitely a little bit of snow still littered about. Everybody is adorned in some very comfortable and very flashy looking, winter furs and cloaks of feathers and stuff like that, or, down sort of situation where they are really showcasing just how beautiful they are. You can imagine Naren's coat that he wears is this big flowing cloak that is comprised of all these beautiful feathers from some the coat of some, what are they called?
Commatory.
Commatory, thank you so much. Kind of showcasing his, the prominence and whatnot is it, but more importantly about the colors. Like the Commissary cloak that he's wearing stands unique compared to almost every other one there, because the coloration of the Commissary that the Kushibashi clan has is different, because his Commissary breeds, their lineages come from within the actual forests themselves, not out in the Great Plains, as we discussed in his session 0 and since. So you can see these coloration difference. You can see the colors and whatnot that are worn by Clan Shado are significantly more prominent. Having lots of coal and whatnot to work with allows him to incorporate all these like wonderful blues, but more importantly, those bright oranges that use those like deep blues as like a backdrop to really showcase how bright they are. So you see all these different colors kind of like showcased there, people wearing their gems, etc., etc. And every breath that you take does actually give off a bit of a mist because of the cold weather here. That being said, your characters aren't cold. Combination of the amount of clothing, the heavy clothing that you're wearing, the roaring fire that happens to be in the central area there. I mean, this fire is, of course, everything here is, of course, to Vroga, but that fire is one that would make anybody who worships because of the K here, help me out. Kraleen, thank you so much. Thanks, Naga. Anybody who worships Kraleen would make them extremely proud. I mean, and this is a fire specifically for Kraleen. Kraleen is about passion of everything, passion of war, passion of love, passion of food, passion of everything. So there's a huge roaring fire there, right? It's also the number of people around. There's so many people around you that also gives that kind of like societal pressure, that warmth that you get from just being surrounded by many others. And there's a lot of food being walked about. There are tables of food and everything in the area. There are servants that are walking around offering trays of food. Now, this isn't, you're not getting like some classy kind of food. We're getting some French dish with a little bit of some herb put on top of some neatly wrapped this and some sort of bloop, a dollop of sauce. No. These are going to be more primal foods that are equally decadent, like bacon wrapped scallops, like kind of decadent, delicious food.
We're getting hot dogs. Fish pigs in a blanket, boys.
Bacon wrapped scallops trumps your goddamn hot dogs, okay?
Listen, I love my hors d'oeuvres, okay? Don't shit on my hors d'oeuvres.
Now, Nick, I know you have. Jake and Sel, have you guys eaten bacon wrapped scallops before?
No, I mean, I've had scallops and I've had bacon, so I can imagine the...
Dude, if you've never had that, you need to have bacon wrapped scallops. It's one of those things where like a wedding isn't a wedding unless there's bacon wrapped scallops, because it's like so good. Jake, have you?
I've had bacon wrapped prawns.
Oh, okay, not quite the same, because prawns very different meat than scallop, but similar enough that you get what I'm talking about. Cool.
Yeah.
Also bacon wrapped medallion. Help me out here. What's that steak?
I know
what fillets.
Filet, yeah, bacon wrapped medallion filet. Oh, so good. Anyways, moving on. So these kind of like delicious dishes all around you. But most importantly, the reason why, despite how cold it is, the reason why you're warm is the drinks. Let's be serious. There's a whole lot of drinks that are here. I mean, a bunch of different options. And none of this friggin' wines coming out of the Dale lands and what they grow up in the to the north over there. None of this crap that's coming out of the Paradel or anything like that. These are all Kajinksi. Some of them being a bit more traditional fermentation, some of them much more modernized fermentation processes. Kajinksi beers and wines and sours and meads and so on and so forth. Kajinksi liquor. And it's not one of those things where, oh, can I just get a cup of water? No. Any beverage you have has some degree of alcohol inside of it. So you have that nice warm face feeling going on as you're kind of coming into this situation. Now, I imagine your characters are all keen enough, because you're not NPCs, right? You're all playing intelligent-ish characters. You're intelligent enough to keep a degree of a control with the amount that you're drinking. But let's get it out. Your characters are a little tipsy. You're just not over that edge.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I think, as I mentioned last session, Tyson actually doesn't drink much, which is a weird quality he has.
Just alienating yourself even more.
That's fine.
Everybody
Tesla
else
just
at the
doesn't drink
party.
much. He'll have a cup and he'll drink it, but like, He'll pretend to take longer sips.
Oh, you're like the kid who plays drinking games at the party but doesn't actually drink.
Mathis.
Oh man, that's fun for like one game, but when you start trouncing everybody halfway through the party, it's time to stop.
Well, that actually wasn't true. So like Mike has like such a like reflex or whatever that soda actually genuinely was uncomfortable for him. So while he wouldn't really drink any alcohol, maybe a shot the entire party, he would drink soda because it was genuinely uncomfortable for him to make sure that he was. It wasn't something where he wasn't like Nick's talking about, just making you guys drink while he's just drinking water or something. You know what I mean? So, but yeah,
that's legit as fuck.
Yeah.
So I have a question before we start this. Is this ball? Is this what we would expect from Northern Kajiksi? This type of like all the stuff from Kajiksi, or is this trying to appeal more to the roots of the nation? Like the roots of like from the barren lands, right? So everything is produced in-house instead of exporting, right? Is this supposed to be like we are still people, like we're still Kirk type situation, right? You get what I'm saying?
I do hear what you're saying. So you're saying like if we're talking about bacon wrapped scallops, these are going to be the scallops that come out of like maybe the giant lake here, not ones that were imported from some ocean somewhere.
Yeah.
And if your character happened to be like a truly what's the word I'm looking for here, but like a foodie, you might be able to discern the difference between what it is that they're offering versus where it came from or whatever. Unfortunately, none of your characters are foodie people, so you wouldn't know. These are traditional meals, but maybe where they got the supplies from, how they were prepared, these aren't things that you would necessarily know the difference, right?
Should have brought Pete. He has the +10 profession foodie.
You just keep making. I love it because every time you just add a new thing to his list of skills.
Yeah.
But okay, so we just don't know if this is meant to appeal specifically to like the roots. It seems with the alcohol, as you were saying, it was because
I mean the food is definitely. This is all definitely traditional Kajinksi foods or even Karak foods, I should say, meals and so on and so forth. Sans, dead bodies. This is like the other stuff, and again, more Kajinksi because that's when you were able to have more options of food to eat, more herbs, more whatchamacallit. But again, these are all like simple meals. Like if you were somebody coming from Paradel, you'd be like, oh, so you just like put two things together and like cook the shit out of it. Okay.
Okay. Last side note. Do I have the best? Do I have the best headgear on in this crowd? The best hat.
Oh yeah, you mean because you have a crown? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody else is so ostentatious or self-righteous to wear a crown.
Especially when it's good as mine, right?
Yeah. Well, yours is extremely magical, right? So.
Yeah.
But nobody wears things like a crown. That's as Jake was saying. So if I ever started a sci-fi campaign, if I was doing like, hey guys, let's do a Star Trek campaign, that'd be fun, right? Jake, you're gonna play, the officer of engineering, and Nick, you could be the medical officer, and I don't know, PCX, you could play the second in command, the first. And so, what do you want to play? Oh, a knight. A hologram knight that got a physical form and somehow is now able to wander throughout the rest of the ship. Okay, cool.
Hey,
yeah.
Data was a fantastic character. Okay.
I like Data. Oh.
All right. So, yep. So I stand out even more, just to be clear. So everyone in chat knows I not only arrived late, I'm also like, there's some bling on. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So
God, we're showing up with 2 chains.
No, I got like 2 chains around the neck and then 6 in the pockets. Okay.
Go ahead. As you go walking up to them, you guys can recap with one another. Give me a moment to eat some pizza.
Okay. I actually think we did recap a little bit, but just in case, I think the first thing I'll bring up is to Tessel, and I'll be like, be prepared for them to try to use your dealings with holy crap, what are the elves? The Paradel. They're going to try to leverage it against us.
And they can try, but I think it'll be easy enough to convince them that my actions are to protect Kajinksi. That is my duty on the border, to stop Paradel from invading, and they haven't invaded.
Fair enough.
And if they want to come down south to sit on the border, they may do that. But if they don't, then I don't think they can complain. It'd be like if someone walked over to you saying you're doing your job poorly. You would laugh at them for not understanding.
I think I hired mercenaries to destroy their city, but yeah.
No, we're not also as brazen as that. Naren.
Well, we all have our methods.
Jake, anything you want to add?
I'm just going to be calling over waiters eating these bacon wrapped scallops.
So I guess if our kind of conversation is milding out, I would actually walk over to the big fire.
Not to mention the kelp salad that they would have from there.
So good.
I don't know.
Is it made from kelpies?
This tastes a little like Western wood here. Is this have a hint of guccibashi in there? From all those decomposing soldier corpses. You piece of shit.
God. But I'll walk over to the fire, actually, take my crown off for a moment, hold it to my chest, and I would do a prayer to Kraleen.
Do your prayer. That's fine. All right. The what are they called? The other clans are, of course, all about kind of having conversations with one another and whatnot. When there's no the point of this particular part. This isn't the ball. There's no anybody pulling a centralized attention. No giving speeches. No anything grandiose like that. This is more meant to be an extension of what it was earlier, but it's so much more public that people are going to be able to witness what it is that you're doing. So, for instance, at one point in time, you'll actually hear Throne as they walk by the who'd you meet with beforehand? The chieftain of the throne. We'll look across and say, Shadow Tessel, I'm glad you can make it.
Of course. I arrived. Of course I made it. Would you expect anything else?
Well, you arrived to others' borders early, but you show up to the party late.
Oh, last time I checked, our borders do not touch. Maybe you think you claim more land than you own.
Gives you a look and says, some say that you it says my apologies. There's a rumor that you're claiming you make the finest weapons in Kajinxi.
Well, they're certainly finer than yours.
When you make such a stinging response, why don't you go ahead and this is an intimidation check.
Oh, I'm not quite as good at those as but first roll of the goddamn session. I can't. Wow, that's so unfortunate.
Maybe we'll get the opportunity to test the steel.
If you want to test steel, I'm sure we can find a time and opportunity to do so. Publicly, of course. For a show.
He nods. He says, well, let's just hope that there aren't any so disrespectful, aren't disrespectful enough to test those borders while everyone's attention's to the north.
But that would go against all the rules of war in Kajinxi. Unprovoked? That would be a bad luck to do so while the warlords are north. He nods. And everyone can hear you.
He nods saying, I'm glad you do seem to understand this, and so therefore will take full responsibility for the actions of your clan, should they do such a thing.
Of course, but my men will not do such a thing.
I'm glad you have confidence in that. It's kind of, raise a glass and turn and walk off.
Raise a glass.
So,
if I didn't roll that one there, if I didn't roll that one there, I would have rolled that dude in the conversation. I'm mad.
Yeah, unfortunately, 13 is not very high, and you did not luck die it.
It's a nat one. It's critical fail.
Oh, that's right. You guys critically fail on this. I for some reason, I see Jake's face, and I just think wimp. So I assume that those rules don't apply. You know what I mean? It's not his fault. He's an Aussie. So
I assume the crit fails because I showed up late here, and my words aren't as impressive because of my lateness and tardiness.
Mm-hmm. Now, who was it that actually spoke with Kagong before? That was Nick, right? And you were speaking to Kagong somewhat on behalf of Cell, weren't you?
Kagong? Is that the leader of Theron?
That's the one I renamed because it got a little weird sounding for a second.
No, that was Jake that talked to Theron.
No, not Theron, Kagong.
Oh.
Clan
Yeah.
Kagong.
That's the old lady, then.
That's
then
the
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
And Kagong.
Yeah. I just changed that name because that was I was like, oh no, this is bad. This is very bad. Bad taste in mouth.
Yeah, I remember why.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, because it was like,
bad
wasn't it
letter
like
choice.
Clan Caca? It was very.
It was
Yeah.
bad.
It
bad.
wasn't that great.
It was almost as bad as his Ashen Panther.
Oh God. Okay.
It hurts my soul.
It should. It
Yeah.
should, sir.
Yeah. Jake, I blame you.
Educate yourself.
You know what the issue is that Jake is a huge. Well, first of all, he's from New Zealand, so he's a diehard Lord of the Rings fan because that's all they have out there. So he had to iconize something from Lord of the Rings.
Whoa. Don't insult New Zealand by saying Jake's from there. Okay.
Well,
Okay, so all right.
I'm sorry. Okay.
they have the better. They have the better flag. So
They're basically the same flag. I'm sorry.
mm.
Both of you guys need to change your flags today. Okay. They're both garbage.
Yeah, get rid of the Union Jack. Come on, independence. Let's go.
Not even
That'll
that.
probably go when the Queen dies, to be honest.
That's actually fair.
It might in your nation. Well, Canada doesn't have it on there anyways, but Canada will probably stick to the Commonwealth. So, is New Zealand a part of the Commonwealth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were originally founded by the Dutch or whatever.
Australia and New Zealand were both founded by the Dutch first, but
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
it's definitely a colony of the British. Or
Yeah.
once.
Either way,
Yeah. Any other insults I get from these clans? Want to challenge Dessel to a verbal duel?
no,
Okay,
actually,
they'll lose.
so when that happens, it's one of those things where you go walking off and your words were sharp, but they lacked any bite. Is the issue because of Natty One, right? So you had sharp words that may have stung his pride a little bit as an individual, which is fine, or maybe we're just provoking the beast, if you will. But they didn't really have any significance that like swayed the crowd or anybody that was kind of overhearing how this transpired. That being said, others are actually going to approach. So you have Nick. This is going to be you can see the colors of Clan Vok, who you actually did not interact with last time, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, I think you interacted with somebody from Wolf Maw before. But either way, so from Clan Vok, you'll actually have somebody walking over. The person walking over is going to introduce themselves to you, face on, because you've actually never met the chieftain of Clan Vok before. So if I remember correctly, the chieftain of Clan Vok happens to be a lady. So she walks up and with a gentleman to her side. Let me define them. This lady and this gentleman. So she is a Karak, of course, but like you can tell by her culture, so on and so forth, she's a Karak. But she actually happens to be a Karak that if she's Kork or just full on human with like the Kuru kind of bloodline, you're not entirely sure, but she looks very, very, very human to you. Some fairly angular, kind of like stronger features in her face and whatnot suggest that she might have some Karak bloodline in her. Either way, so she did, but definitely the way she carries herself, her clothing and everything suggests she's very much Karak of culture. So she comes walking over to you. For her age, she's probably in her late 30s to early 40s, with being predominantly human. Is not that old, honestly. That's somebody that's got holding it together compared to an orc that would be of that age, which is looking venerable. You know what I mean? The person that comes to her side with her happens to be somebody who you're pretty sure has a bit of human inside them, but mostly leans towards that orcish side. So easily 3/4 orc with a little bit human splashed in. But so when she walks up to you, she has kind of like a mid-length, just past the shoulders, kind of like a fiery to orangey red hair, brown eyes. She comes walking up, like I said, she has a bit of like gray streaks kind of happening inside there because of her elevated age. She's of course wearing the appropriate clan colors, has skins and whatnot on her. She does have because she's a clan that is along the river as opposed to along the forest. Like I said, she does have skins and whatnot on her, but you can also tell like the type of armor that she wears is very scaly and has a bit of a sheen to it, even though it's made out of metal, to kind of give that like reflective kind of look that like fish scales happen to have. The person that stands at her side, while wearing colors that suggest of Clan Vok, they actually don't look similar at all. They carry themselves very differently, so on and so forth, which suggests that maybe of a different upbringing. Either way, she comes walking up to the group of you, because the three of you happen to be together, and walks up to the three of you and says, I wanted to take a moment to introduce myself, since it seems as though we have had a bit of a disagreement as of late. She waits to see if you wanted to introduce yourself. She waits to see if you give any form of verbal response before she continues.
Who are you again?
Do you really just say that?
Yeah, no, I'm insulting them. They try to assassinate us. Fuck them.
No, Vok is.
What?
They've just been poking at me, not at you.
Vok are the ones that hired the mercenaries.
Did we prove that?
You have not proven it.
Yeah, but we think that they hired mercenaries in game.
Mm-hmm. So you say that. Who are you again? You do?
Yeah. I mean, we don't have good relations with them. I don't see a problem with this.
Nope. You are perfectly fine to say it.
I know who this is, right?
Yes,
yeah,
of
we know
course.
who it is.
Yeah. No, I know them like personally to an extent because it's Auroram's old clan.
Correct. Yes, sir. You are correct there.
So then when you say that, I will turn to you and say, and introduce her more or less.
Okay. Well, then,
Whilst chewing, obviously, like, I have a full mouth of food.
Oh God,
Oh.
we're just insulting
Like-
them. We're insulting them so hard.
That's
no, the worst part is her first name. Her first name is Agrob. So imagine saying Agrob with a mouthful of food. Like, Agrob. Like the amount of like spatter that comes out. So it's Warlord, because you don't say Lord Lady. Warlord Agrob of Clan Vok. So
I'm going to facially display my disappointment in my peers while not actually admonishing them in one of those kind of like, I'm sorry, but not sorry kind of like,
oh
yeah, this is my crew.
You mean like when I introduce you to other people? I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. That warning you kind of give people first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Mike gives people that warning about me.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
You know, and I'm like, well, I'm nice. I'm always nice. I never do anything mean.
When compared to Nick, you're nice, but then Anyway. So
my face is like a tomato because of the damn green shirt with the green skirt. I didn't learn my lesson last time.
We just like double insulted this person. So they're probably not happy right now.
No, honestly, that behavior.
I didn't insult.
That behavior from him is kind of
It's
expected.
normal.
She actually knows him.
Okay.
So he actually did that very informal, out of like informality because of like how they know each other. So actually, I didn't see him as an insult, but Nick, obviously, that would be a little insulting if it was done, or as it was done, even. But either way, so the you say clan was it Warlord Agrob of the Vok clan, and she turns to you and gives like a little bit of a bow, like a small head bow, kind of admitting that what he's saying is true. And then she looks at you and says, "And you are?"
I am Warlord Tessel Shadow. I'm sorry, I'm not up to date on all my friends' neighbors. I have other things to focus on. It's great to meet you.
She nods again and says, "Likewise." And then turns back to Nick and says, "It seems as though there may have been a bit of an understanding that happened as of late. Shall we walk and talk?"
Sure, absolutely.
She will leave behind whoever this male counterpart is with her, and then turn and start walking with you. I don't know if you leave behind your what's her name there?
Zara.
Zara. Do you leave behind Zara?
Yes, I think Zara would know that these two need an escort.
I'm
That's
perfectly fine. Okay.
That's funny. But also, why are we calling Zara an
I feel
escort?
like Tesla's in that mood that Cell was in when he just like came out swinging at Nick that one time.
I know. You know, it's funny. As I came out, I was
who are
like,
you?
I'm gonna be nice, and then Cell just comes
I don't like
dropping
this person.
insults.
Okay, this person literally tried to kill us, and he caused some of our men to die.
I don't know. You
That-
seem like you're in a bit of a mood.
Hasn't been
Oh,
proven.
okay. Better-wise, there's other reasons. Tesla's trying to make himself stand out. This
So
is a goal.
we also
By
just had
insulting all
Tyrone
the other
basically
women.
tell you
Only
that
the ones
he's-
that have actively done us harm. Okay.
I'm just
Tyrone literally insulted me first. Okay. Second, and they've literally been trying to like fuck my clan up with the broken chain.
yeah, and they
This
literally
person literally sent mercenaries after us.
he literally
They don't
just told
deserve
you.
being nice.
He literally just told you that he's gonna set you up to make it look like you attacked somebody else while we're all here.
I know. What he
So why wouldn't he have done that to Vok to keep them fighting us and keeping both of us busy?
did. Okay, but this is a listen. From all in the game information, we think it's Vok. Okay, it's just the truth.
And there was a grievance here, Josh. Homemade pizza done right is fucking amazing. Okay, maybe you're not tall enough to reach all the ingredients, but it is fantastic.
That's just mean.
Don't worry, Brittany uses a little ladder.
A step ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Those are legit as fuck. Right?
Oh, by the way,
I don't-
Nick, after work tomorrow, I have to go move a washer machine, and you know what? I didn't call you. You're welcome.
That is actually shocking. Do you have a dolly? Because I have one that's rated for.
I have a dolly already there set up and everything. I have Gary coming over to help me because I have to help him move a couch. And he was like, oh, yeah, actually, I'll gladly help you because you're going to have to help me move a couch at the end of the month. And I was like, oh, cool. He's like, no, I don't think you understand. This is the fucking heaviest couch I've ever seen in my goddamn life. I cannot even lift part of it by myself. So have fun. I was like, I think I could do the washer by myself.
If it's got the mechanical the automatic recliners, oh man, those things are so heavy.
Troy, the
I didn't even move mine the last time we moved. I sold it and we bought a new couch.
Nick?
It's like I'm not moving it.
Nick, it's one of the ones that plug into the wall so you can power your devices while you sit on it, and you press a button, and electronically it reclines the chair.
Yeah, that's right. They're so heavy.
Mm-hmm. I was like, cool. Anyways, don't pull out anything, Scott. What?
Like, don't pull out like your back or.
Oh,
Like that.
okay. I was just saying.
Oh, I was gonna say that's how babies are made.
Well, yeah. What's going on?
Rossi was trying to look out for you. Okay, god damn it.
Cool.
All right. So what happens? It's Nick.
Yes. So,
Does he get like
V-Sword. V-Sword. The Nick is talking about going the weekend of October 2nd. I have to coordinate with Brittany and work, but probably that weekend. Moving on.
so October 2nd is the Harry Potter day. So that's the day we're going because there's going to be a potions class. And if I don't take my daughter to potions class, she would murder me.
Does she watch The Worst Witch as well?
But she watches everything witch related
Okay.
all the time,
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
while dressed up as a witch.
Worst witch.
The Worst Witch is kind of low-key what Harry Potter was copy and pasted from. By the way, you did get a Winifred's Wisdom, Stell? Just so you're
Oh.
aware.
Who
Yeah.
gave it to me so I can thank them?
I'll give you two guesses.
It was probably Steve.
Nope. Steve doesn't love you.
Who else is in chat? Then it was probably Joey.
Yep, it was Joey.
It's one of the two.
All right, cool. So let's. Oh, hype train. Hello. Just noticed there's a hype train. That's freaking exciting. So back to game. Starts turning and walking away with you, leaving the other one behind. So As she walks away, she turns and walks with you. She had never asked you to introduce yourself. She obviously knows who you are, right? By reputation and your colors and so on and so forth. So she turns and starts walking with you. He walks for probably like a solid 15, 20 seconds without there any conversation to be said. And then she says, would you care to explain?
There's a few things I think that need to be cleared up then if we're going to go this road. We were assaulted first. And then I've also had men claiming to be paid off by you attempt an assassination on me en route here.
You were assaulted first in what way?
I'm trying to remember. No, was it Vok? No, it was Vosk.
Yeah, in game, you paid off mercenaries to just attack Vok.
No,
because they were building an army.
Was it
right outside his border? First there was First there was a scenario that you had somebody to go handle, but they rolled like a natty 1 and critically failed handling the scenario, and it turned into a skirmish. Just exactly whose fault it is, who knows? Like in the nitty gritty. But your advisor went to go handle the scenario, rolled a critical failure.
Yeah.
And then later on, when they started building an army inside of a military camp immediately outside of your city, you were like, bro. So you paid off Vosk.
That's right.
To attack
Yes.
Vok.
So Vosk attacked us. We took Vosk, and then while that was going down, I'll basically say you positioned an army right at my border with no communication.
She nods and says, that did happen. We
Yes.
absolutely did do that, and I authorized the request to do so. Perhaps there should be a little bit of explanation on our side. We were attacked first, unprovoked, and retaliated as well as we could. I believe both of us lost people during that little skirmish that ended up playing out, didn't it? As for the positioning the army and building it up, I did authorize its placement. However, I was a little misinformed as to exactly how far your border had started reaching to the north and to the east. I did not realize that you were starting to encroach on the rivers.
While we have taken the river, we have been carving a clear line as to what we intend to take, merely securing transport for lumber as we push west. I don't think that's unreasonable.
By Kajinksi law, no clan may own the waters of a river or of a lake, but they can instill into it certain taxes every so often to maintain the safety and security of the borders that the river or lake might happen to be within your own lands. This is Kajinksi law. We all know this. That being said, if you are going to start encroaching into the rivers and bringing links to the north, I think we are going to start having to do business with one another.
Business is better than war in this aspect.
Why don't you go ahead and roll a diplomacy check on that one?
This is unbelievable. The only two rolls. We've rolled. What the fuck? Wait. It's the green shirts. Hey, if Scott rolls in that one, I better go change shirts, okay?
You say business is better than war, but was it not Clan Vosk that had its mercenary army attack to the north after things played out as they did? And I honestly thought that Clan Vosk was about to be heavily punished for their actions. And then I came to realize when I sent an emissary down to Clan Vosk that Clan Vosk doesn't have the same leadership that it did before. there are others that happen to be ruling this place, including a particularly notable light spear.
Yes, well, Clan Vosk made a lot of mistakes. So Mr. Lightspear decided to liberate Vosk of their leadership.
Again, I would not think too much of this liberation if it wasn't for the fact that Lightspear was rumored to have been a council member to Clan Kushibashi in the recent past, and it seems as though Clan Kushibashi sponsored for Clan Vosk to come to the north. Is this true, or are these just rumors?
Oh, these are facts.
She nods. So we both believed we were attacked first. And we both retaliated in our own foolish ways. Are we going to continue to be foolish, or are you a man of wisdom?
I think I'm a pragmatic man. This gets me no financial gain warring with my northern border. Okay? If you will not bow to Zinquin and you will mind your own borders, we can go our own way.
But the issue is, you are in contest with an allied nation of mine, with an allied clan of mine. And that contest is unfortunately not friendly. How am I supposed to go about this?
Well, I have allies that fight battles that I don't fight.
How long has your clan been allied with clans Shado and Densho?
That is a good question. We're at a year?
We're a year in like 4 months. We've been allies since March.
Yeah.
So, almost 2 solar cycles, or however they count years. Yeah.
Almost 2 springs, or almost a spring, right?
Yeah.
Or 1 summer, something like that.
Yeah.
Seasons.
Whatever it is. Yeah. So, she says, clans Wolfmaw and Vosk have been allied since our battles ended. It was over 2 decades ago. This is a long-standing alignments that we have with them. I cannot easily turn my back. Or better yet, I should say, if I am to turn my back on an ally such as that, I cannot do so partially, I must do so fully. That is not an easy ask.
It certainly isn't, but I would ask you this, or maybe state these facts. Clan Kuchibashi, Clan Desho, and Clan Shado have only been aligned a year and a half. In that year and a half, our clans have, if not doubled, almost tripled in size, in strength and in power. When is the last time Clan Vosk has seen that kind of growth?
We don't grow outwards like you do. What you're doing is foolish. We've seen many other clans do this before. Quickly swelling out your size without any infrastructure to maintain it from within. But that's your choice. You will, I imagine, collapse underneath your own weight without the stability or the infrastructure to hold yourself together. That's your problem. My problem is my southern border and the dead people that bear my flag. And how it is this should be handled. What recompense can be had for those soldiers that lie dead in the river?
Well, if you want recompense, come and take it.
She will curl a lip, appreciating the challenge, and says, I thought you preferred trade over war.
Recompense isn't trade. I'm not going to bow to you or give you special privileges. We'll do fair deals. And if you feel like you have some grievance, meet me on the battlefield and we will settle it like Karuk.
Who's paying you?
Me.
She shakes her head. No. This is provoked. You're being brash. Your expansion into my lands, the way that your men attacked mine first, and then how you quickly hired mercenaries to then attack my people afterwards. Who's provoking this? Who's pulling your strings? You can either tell me and we can avoid all of this, or you can play it off like you don't have a hand up your ass, and I can find out afterwards.
What's the clan to the left of them again called?
Wolfmaw?
Wolfmaw?
Can you guys not see the map?
No.
What map
Oh,
do
you
mean?
can, but you can't see that what that
Yeah,
clan's name
yeah.
is.
I can't see who they are.
Yeah.
You can't see Vok either, to be fair.
Yeah.
Or Vok. Yeah, Vok.
Trying to think of how I would say this, just to stir shit, but well, you know what they say. Shit, I can't think of anything clever. Big surprise. Something along the lines of I don't want the maw to bite the hand that's feeding it, but Clan Kuchibashi has no interest in pursuing any further north than we already have. As far as up the river is as far as we intend to go, and then I intend to consolidate my borders to the west. That is the word of Kuchibashi.
She'll actually turn and full on face you at this. And she says, you're saying that you do not intend to continue pushing forward, north or east.
I would say that basically the land that's highlighted is the land I intend to take. I'm going to take the surroundings.
She means she's not trying to trick you up in an exact phrasing. That's not really a Kajinxi tactic, right? It's more or less, you're not coming any closer to me.
No.
She kind of looks you in the eye, trying to see exactly how, serious you are about this. She thinks for a moment and says, do you have an intentional area of expansion?
I do. We're currently laying the infrastructure to handle that expansion.
As previously stated, I don't believe you. You have given me no reason to, and you certainly have all the signs of someone who is a paid puppet, encroaching on my land and trying to either lure me into attacking you so we could have all-out war for whoever's benefit it is, or currently right now trying to lull me into a sense of calm so you can strike when my guard is down. So I'm telling you to your face, like a karak, a proper karak, I don't believe you. But for the sake of diplomacy, if you have the honor for such a thing, I'm willing to have my emissaries meet with yours and draft up a map, a line, an understanding. Should you go beyond this line, then I'll know that everything that you have previously promised is a lie. And don't think I won't be searching for spies. I'll certainly be trying to find them within my border. Mind you, he already sent spies successfully.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
I'm not going to lie either. I'll be like, the spies will be there. The spies will always be there. From me and from your neighbors. I expect you to find them and handle them gracefully, as I would yours.
That's... Oh, God. That could be a diplomacy or an intimidation check. I'll allow you to do either one.
I mean...
Probably diplomacy, because my intimidate is horrible.
Honestly, like, in itself, that's just, like, a statement of, like, fact.
Yeah. Of course.
Continuing with the luck.
Luck.
22.
I just needed the one.
It's like you imagine, Anna answering to that. It's like, we are Russia. Of course there's spies. Like,
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, of course they're spies, right? You'd have to expect that.
Awesome. So, she actually will kind of like give you a hard look for a good second and a half, as you so openly admit that, and then she gives like a single head nod of appreciation for what it was that you guys had, for more or less your honesty in the situation, and she says, "I think we can at least agree on that." From how it is that your nation from how it is that your clan has seemed to be behaved and led, I assumed you were a thug at best. I am pleasantly surprised to see that you at least can form a sentence. Maybe we can have trade in the future, but for now, let's see if there really are any strings. You have my word. Clan Vok will make no aggressive action toward you. And any rumors you hear of aggressive action toward you, or any doubts you have of that, I suggest you send them to me directly.
Agreed. I will take your word, and we'll forearm clasp.
And before we kind of like finish that up, we're gonna put a pin in that, put on pause. As I said, there was a man that was left behind on the other side that was over there. For the two of you, you guys can roll me a knowledge warlord check. Though I think you guys have done this check before and failed, but then you guys kind of shared knowledge before, so.
Should I like it? I don't think so. I don't think it matters too much. I'm leaving it. So
I wouldn't like
19. You would like it?
Hmm.
I don't want to.
I mean,
Okay.
you can ask him who he is.
Yeah, I agree.
You can do the "Who are you?" again.
So, I honestly am terrible at names. I mentioned beforehand, somebody succeeded the check. I think it was Nick, about who the person was that was leading the army of Clan Vok and the defensive positioning and whatnot that they were doing in the southern town that they have over there along the river. I honestly can't remember that person's name. Yeah, the general, exactly. I honestly can't remember this person's name, unfortunately. Nick, did you write down the notes?
I don't think I ever got his name.
I don't think so either.
Oh yeah, Isamu.
Isamu, that sounds like it could easily be it.
Yep, he's a male Quark
Yep.
from Vok.
Oh, I say quirk. That's funny. This time I defined him as being the opposite. He's cumin.
Human.
Cumin.
3 quarks.
Yeah, 3/4 orc. By the way,
3 quark. What general? How do you? Can you post his name in chat?
Isamu. So, Cell, you were able to identify him as being Isamu. You actually, because of what was described to you beforehand by Narin, the fact that your character happens to be particularly studious, you know what I mean? You kind of put 2 and 2 together about this and realize who he is. So it's Isamu, and he put it inside Twitch chat, just so you're aware. So, you see General Isamu is standing here. General Isamu of Clan Vok. So, do you say anything as the 2 of them turn to walk off, or do you wait until they speak first?
Tessel looks at them for a moment, with the look of someone just trying to I think I know who this is, but not exactly sure. For a couple moments.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're waiting that long,
yeah, he probably 40 seconds is blank. He's thinking.
He will turn to the 2 of you, give a bit of a bow. He's of a lower position. He's not a warlord, so of course he's going to show respect. So it's about a medium bow. You know what I mean? So something to show respect without being so prostrating. You know what I mean? But so he gives a medium bow to the 2 of you and says, I have heard many a great thing about Clan Shado and Clan Densho. It seems as though Clan Shado has learned a means of forging weapons that cannot otherwise be forged by other smiths in Kijinxi. The rumors have stretched north of this, and Clan Densho is rumored to have members of its army that stretch far and above the weapons of war that they have constructed to aid them.
You're Samu. Sorry. I was trying to remember your name. I think I heard it when I've heard it once.
I'm humbled that the warlord Shadow is familiar with my name and hopefully my reputation. And he gives another bow.
I've heard it's a great reputation. Good man. Honorable.
He again, no bow after that, just, of course, acknowledging it. Then he says, however, from what I understand, it is Clan Kushibashi that likely has the best army of the three that are allied together. Having cavalry, I believe, is the word. And again, it sounds funny in his mouth. You know what I mean? He like almost mispronounces it, but for those of you that speak Perrin know the word, as he's using a Perrin word for people that ride on horses. You know what I mean?
Is that normal? Is that where we? Is it like a loan word for crook? The Perrin word?
No, so you can imagine that there's a Karuk word for it. Because Karuk, well, so the Karuk word for it would be more like a phrase that says "he who rides" or "they who ride," right?
Beast Riders or something.
Yeah, Beast Riders or "they who ride," right? But he uses the Perrin phrase because we all know that anything that's equated to being Perrin is an insult because it's Del. So it actually was an accurate description, but also a subtle insult, right?
So it's a weird insult because like they're actually really powerful.
Who?
The cavalry.
The cavalry of Paradel?
Or of like Kushibashi, but yeah, and of Paradel, I assume.
Yes. So he's literally saying that they're the best army of the three of you. So, but he's also equating them to being Paradel, which is meant to be a subtle insult. So that would not go over most people's heads.
Not an insult at all to Shader. He's very happy with that comparison.
Shut up. Okay. Listen, just because I'm the only one that speaks fluent Perrin, okay? Nah, I think Nick does too.
So he says, the greatest army with the cavalry they have at their disposal.
Cecil nods. Is a Kamatori or legendary?
Now, Kamatori, are they not more capable on the fields than they are in the forests?
Have you ever been into Eldamar?
He bows. He does like a very slight bow and he says, I've had the honor twice in my life. Unfortunately, most under my commands did not return home. I sought locations where my strategies, my understanding of war, would bring victory, triumph, and not bloodshed and dishonor.
At that point, what's been happening the whole time he's been talking to Sel is Verix has been eating and talking with Aurorum just kind of slowly, and he just like roars with laughter and does one of those, you know how you slam your cup down and like it goes everywhere, and he starts like clapping Aurorum on the back at some funny joke that was just said. Probably a little too hard because Aukrum's pretty old.
Well, no, poor Aurorum got back pain because you.
Just thought
Jesus Christ. Seriously.
Stop. No, I forgot the accent that you're supposed to have. It's the worst. No offense. Is that Ano?
No. Grimesy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I forget.
With the name like Grimesy, what do you expect? You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
That brother's pretty Grimesy.
So assuming Verix is not paying attention, so I've been in there twice as well. They're adept at moving through the trees, just like through the plains. It's their second nature. So they're just as effective in both areas. More effective in the forest than men on foot.
Must be a different breed, or perhaps a different type of training these Kamatori have. Because I've seen Kamatori of Wolf Maw, and it doesn't seem as though they are particularly familiar with how to get over the roots, how to dig in too deep to the west.
I have ridden on one of his birds through the forest, and I'm not trained rider, and it guided me through without much difficulty.
It is also said that the chieftain, the warlord of Clan Shadow is a man of brilliance, one who understands things quickly. You even have the support of the Arcane Congress, do you not?
I do. I have a member in my court or council, and he is selling your secrets. What the fuck? Every time I say anything, selling secrets. What the fuck? This is God. I hate everything. Okay, sorry. No excuse. Varix is next to me. Okay, if he has a problem with it, he can stop.
Look, this is only going to end one way, with that guy taking like an envelope stuffed with money out of his jacket, giving it to you, and then job money well spent.
Or he's gonna tuck it right into his pocket and just be like, "That's a good boy."
Yes, I have a member of the Arcane Congress on my council. He helps me in understanding matters of magic that go far beyond my understanding as someone who grew up without any nearby.
I think most of us have grown up with little to no magic or understanding of how magic works. As it stands right now, my understanding of magic is just how to defend against it, how to brace against what onslaught magic can bring. Training soldiers to react to an explosion of fire that came from great distances and otherwise unseen before. It's not something that Kajinksi is familiar with, but something we've had to learn as we've expanded further and further north.
Yes, magic is a great tool of destruction, but can also be a great tool of usefulness, of helping production or save lives from a cleric.
I would say that's the greatest way to win a war still, is through attrition. Let your enemy defeat themselves. Allow them to wear themselves thin, spread themselves too wide. Allow them to exhaust themselves against your shield before you even swing the first blow.
Defense is the best offense in many cases.
This is where the Kamatori have their failing. Kamatori are just meat. They have no defense.
That is true, but a swift attack can finish an army off before it has a chance to dig in. There's many sides to the many coins, and on the battlefields, many different factors influence the ultimate victor. It does not come down to one decisive moment. It comes down to many.
He nods. So, he says,
Zara's here. Does she say anything, actually?
she hasn't chimed in at all.
Zara's, she's not
She's
smart.
writing down notes too.
She's not charismatic, but she's smart. She's wise enough to keep her mouth shut.
And report back.
That I've told
Slowly.
nothing that Anaran himself hasn't said.
And Joey, I don't think I ever mentioned that my Kamatori were adept at running through Eldamar. I may claim that they're the best. I've never said why they're the best.
I just thought all commentary they come from Eldamar. That's like I thought they were just
No, they don't.
They don't come from. I thought they came from.
No.
Eldamar.
It's okay because if you think about all species in the world, right? Eventually they kind of diverge and become almost like that. There's how many different types of penguin, right?
Okay, yeah.
And you think about how many different types of great birds like emu and ostrich and so on and so forth, right? They're all adapted for different environments.
Yeah.
Right. So they're the Kamatori of the plains and they're the Kamatori of the of Eldamar. Nick happened to be able to in his session 0. Whoa! Holy shit, Steve! Wow, 10. Holy fuck.
Well, honestly,
grab up those ones and what Nick is trying to do through what's his name Green's Patreon made character Tonscreen, thank you, is he's trying to breed kind of like a superior Kamatori that's good in both. And it's something that it's like what he's working on. Yes. It's just, this isn't something that we've outwardly defined because it's kind of like a subtle thing.
Yeah, well, I think in game,
Yeah,
out of
it's
game,
just-
I didn't know this.
It's just
In-game-
Cells are those people when you offer him subtlety, it goes like this.
Well, no, well, because like from you've never said this. This
It's
is
like,
not like information that was obvious, in my opinion.
Nick, was it obvious to you?
Come on.
Right? Like you literally, but you said like these birds are from this place. So even from Tessel's perspective, he might think that birds come from Eldamar because that's his majority experience.
Yep. No, and I've defined many times before that they do live in the plains and come up from the plains and whatnot of Kajinxi, right?
Yeah,
So
but we only recently learned this, or at least Tessel, I'd assume.
I think I talked about that before even this campaign started.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, to be fair, the first time I ever talked about that was with what's his name? I think with Green in a
Green.
Patreon campaign like over a year ago. But that was a very unique scenario. But let's keep going. So so he says what was the last thing said? I'm so sorry. Zara, would she be chiming in over shield smashing? They're just meat. Very true. That whole thing. And then he says, the relationship between your three clans, it is honorable and unique. I've never seen a relationship that seems to be so closely bound, beyond just trade, but traveling with one another personally, and coming to each other's aid if the rumors speak truthfully. The three of you, do you liken yourselves to the northern clans? If I may be so bold as to ask such a question.
I don't think we think about it like that. We're neighbors, and being allies is more beneficial than enemies. It protects us from our sat corners and lets us focus on other problems, and mutual defense is a strong insurance. As you said, defense is better than offense in many cases, and this is the same in alliances. It is our defense. It's better than attacking all of our neighbors.
He nods and says, with your production of fine steel, I imagine you have a decent trade that exists in Clan Shadow, similar to how I imagine Clan Densho probably sits on quite the full coffers, having had decades of experience to guide its warlord into an understanding of how to rule and how to utilize the terrain of the barren lands to his advantage. Do you three aid each other financially as well? Should one go to war with Clan Shadow, would you see not just the soldiers but the coffers of Kushibashi and Densho come to aid them as well?
Varix turns to Shadow and just starts like talking about Okrum's joke. He starts retelling it, cutting this guy off and just like, telling this joke that he finds very funny.
Roll a charisma check for how you deliver the joke.
I will not roll a charisma check at all.
No,
Well,
you go ahead,
not
you roll
terrible.
it. Listen, some people can redo an Eddie Murphy joke really good, and others just fall flat.
Terrible roll. Wait,
Flat.
you have a. Why'd your Christmas
You're like
logo?
Larry the
Outrageous.
Cable Guy trying to tell a joke from like Seinfeld. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I don't know if you get either of those references.
Nope. I stare at him like, you should work on your joke telling, Varix.
You just had to be there.
I think it was a very funny joke, Warlord. He says and gives a slight bow out of respect. But then again, unfortunately, it's just.
That's a pity bow.
But it's just one of those things where it's kind of like expected, because you're not like he might be honest with his clan, Warlord, but you're another clan. He's going to show respect. So he then says, I think Warlord Varix of Clan Densho was trying to call me out for my most recent question.
Of course. I can see it.
He nods and does a full bow. This time, actually, a true full, like prostrating kind of bow to you, Varix, and then stands back up and says, "We have concerns about what Kushibashi has been doing in the south. Kushibashi has been an aggressor, has started the conflict, and escalated it in many ways. We are prepared to break Kushibashi against our shields, if need be. They can try to hide behind their meat, but unfortunately, arrows pierce through it. I say this not as a threat, but as a warning. We don't know why Kushibashi are aggressors in this situation, and we wish it was not the case. But if they continue to do so, they will suffer greatly, both by spilled blood and empty coffers. And unfortunately, anybody who should choose to continue to bankroll them or supply soldiers to their cause may suffer the same fate as well."
Varix will look at Zara and he'll say, "Do you hear that? They're gonna break you on their shields."
It's Zara
Nick
would
gets
just
to play
go.
Zara, right? Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. Again, it's just not smart. I'm trying to think of like, well, pretty sure.
I imagine should just shrug and say, "Shields are flammable."
Spears
Metal
have,
shield. What the fuck? What? It just
it's more of a spears have good reach.
Yep. Well, pretty sure.
Oh no. Oh god.
I was gonna. No.
You just say,
it's,
you just have her be like, "You what, mate?"
it's my like. Have you ever seen a Kamatori jump?
Oh.
I don't know if she's that quick-witted, though. Like, I'm going to pull up her stats real quick. She hurts.
No, she's been thinking about this retort this entire conversation. Okay? She's been preparing the one line. So there's no retort afterwards, but this is the one retort.
That's funny. Hold on. Armies, there's Zara. Here we go. I couldn't find her. Zara. She has a 16 wisdom, which is pretty friggin' solid, but an 8 intelligence and charisma. You know what I mean? Like,
so she's been thinking of this retort, but the delivery might be weak. The delivery is very weak.
I didn't roll a 1, but there's your green shirt roll.
Okay, I'm about to go change shirts, okay?
She says it very matter-of-factly. Like, did you ever see a Kamatori jump?
Yeah, the delivery is weak.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like it's delivered in such a way it's not even perceived as being like a threat. It's more perceived as being like a like she's changing subject, right? Like somebody asks you something you don't want to answer, and so you're like, but you almost pretend like you didn't hear what they asked. They're like, "Do you guys know what the weather's gonna be like later?" Like, just completely changing the subject. So it's one of those things.
This is when Tessa realizes he's now surrounded by a bunch of people that just like can't deliver anything. Jokes poorly, in like intimidations poorly. This is when Tessa realizes.
She speaks
we
like
just
rotten.
can't-
That's an old reference. That's an old reference. Go ahead.
You mentioned my steal, ignoring the comment from Zara, as it was not particularly strong.
Zara?
Assuming the intention. Did you want to see it firsthand?
He nods and says, "I would appreciate such a great honor."
And he, takes out his sword and holds it out.
Hmm?
Lets him take it. And also to note, like, my weapon is actually like a bizarre weapon, I assume. In a land of like heavy blades, I use a light blade that like undulates.
Not necessarily.
and curves.
It's not just a land of heavy blades. Remember, Kaczynski actually has his own fighting style, which is actually very dex-based.
Yeah, but you can be dex-based with heavy blades. Scimitars.
Well, sure, fair enough. Falchions as well. You know what I mean? Things like
Yeah,
that. But
so-
yeah. So by the way, he does, holds his hands out, does a medium bow, allows you to place the blade into his hands, and almost immediately as he stands up from the bow, he reacts to the heat of the thing, and kind of like, reacts to it, so on and so forth. But at this point in time, we're gonna have, what's his name? Naren, returning back with, hold on, have her name right now. I don't know if anybody wrote it down, by the way.
Oh.
But it is Agrob, Agrob, Agrob.
The design would be uncommon because it's an exotic weapon, also a monk weapon. So it's not a weapon that basically anyone would use.
So anyways, so she again, so he takes the bow and then almost immediately reacts as they're approaching and says, "The blade is hot to the touch. Is this a magical ability?"
He shakes and says, "No, it's hot to the touch like Clan Shadow is hot to the core."
Oh God, you shouldn't
Very
even
large.
roll. You shouldn't roll for that natty one. Because you just earned it.
Yep.
Okay, listen, dude. Okay, it's fair,
So
but it's symbolizing. He's making a point. Okay.
So he kind of handles it for a moment. He actually takes like several steps back, and this is Nick witnesses this as he's doing his final approach. Takes several steps back and actually wields the weapon for a few moments, kind of gives it a bit of a swing. Others around do watch because a weapon being drawn and used is actually a bit of a faux pas in this scenario. Having them with you is fine. Drawing them to present them is fine. Actually wielding them and swinging around could be dangerous, right? So it's a bit of a faux pas, but not directly against any rules, right? Because he's not attacking anybody. And you can see, Cell, do me a favor. Roll me a sense motive check.
Sure. He's trying to see if it's magical, I assume. 12.
Rolling trash. Oh, by the way, anyway, the other two may roll a sense motive as well. I'm so sorry, not just Cell.
Yeah, but I assume he's trying to see if there's a magical bonus to it.
And lastly?
Yep. Just pulling up my sheet that was buried.
LD, you're not a person. Oh,
LD
look
is
at
a
that.
person. He rolled a
LD,
two.
are you wearing a green shirt right now, LD? Nick, are you fine with the 18 or?
Should I look it? I think we'll do it.
If you want to, it's up to you.
Good. Cool. I'm going to 20. So this is what happens. You guys are watching him wielding the sword, and he actually full on wields it for like a good 30, 45 seconds or so, which is a lengthy period of time when he's the only one with the sword out, full on like manipulating the thing. What you guys realize is that it's unwieldy, and he seems to get like some degree of kind of at least comfort how to hold it. It's a very unwieldy weapon. He's not familiar with how this works, and eventually goes to hand it back. Nick, what you see is he starts wielding this thing, swinging it around, and then all of a sudden you see a degree of deftness or understanding and the correct ways to manipulate the blade. And you see there's a couple seconds where he actually moves the blade in such a way that suggests he has full understanding of how this works. You can kind of see in his facial reaction and whatnot, but then switches it up to then intentionally look a bit unwieldy again, like he doesn't know what he's doing, to try to be a bit beguiling of the scenario, and eventually just kind of stops the wielding of it. You notice this with your approach, and then we'll walk up to you and hold the blade out again, a little bit guarded, because of course it's very hot to the touch for his hands, the part that's holding the actual blade, and bows down and says, "It's a majestic blade, but one beyond my ability." Nick, because you're finishing your approach, you just need to beat a DC 6 perception to be able to hear that. You might even be able to do that without rolling.
Yes.
Okay, so you hear him say that.
5% chance of failure.
I can roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It wasn't a 1.
Cool. He hands you your blade back.
I see that,
Mm-hmm. Any response or anything?
It's a strange weapon.
What's even stranger is, is claiming insufficient skill. You're a Karuk. Be proud of the skills you've honed. What's his name?
Isamu?
Isamu. No need for subterfuge among friends.
He nods, and he nods to you without giving any verbal or any kind of acknowledgement to what it was that you just, we'll say, accused him of. But he just gives a nod of appreciation to you, and a light bow, not like a medium or a heavy bow. But then once he realizes, like full on realizes that it's you that now he's speaking to, whereas he hadn't before, similar to the other two, he does give you a proper medium bow and says, what is it? Warlord Narin of the Kushibashi clan. It's an honor to finally meet you in person. Hopefully, when we meet again, it'll be of similar circumstances.
Hopefully so. I would hate for you to have to meet my masterpiece that was provided to me by the finest of Warlord Tessel's smiths. And I'll be like, Zara, fetch me Hawkeye. And
Hawkeye? All of a sudden a guy shoots an arrow into the...
Yes.
Right into the guy's Ishai's forehead.
But yeah, Hawkeye, all of a sudden she trips fucking what's his name? Mustang, and starts shooting at the guy with a gun because she's like, it's raining, sir.
I like the only one who stopped watching Marvel movies. They just got so boring I couldn't handle it anymore.
Well, I switched from Hawkeye the dude to Hawkeye the female character from FMA, but that's okay.
You gotta just turn your brain off, that's all.
No.
Fair enough. But
I mean,
that's where I'll...
They're not intellectually stimulating movies. I mean, it's Marvel. So, cancel Nick.
It's meant to be a fun watch for just people beating the fuck out of each other, okay?
Sorry, are most of those movies rated NC-17 and up, Josh? Can you even get into the movie theater when they open?
NC-17? Jesus.
Well, he looks like a 14-year-old boy, so it's fine.
I mean, I love you, Josh, okay? Listen, don't take Nick like that. Don't take his insults. So, I guess you're bringing your what do you call it? Your Naginata?
Yes, yeah. And just to clarify, this thing is like ridiculous.
Mm-hmm, yep. So as she goes off to retrieve it, he says, I would cherish the opportunity, with a mild bow, I would cherish the opportunity to meet your masterpiece, to meet the masterpiece provided for you by Clan Shadow. Whether it be through pleasantries and an opportunity to examine the blade as I just did for Warlord Tessel, or it be in the field of battle, it would be an honor.
It certainly would.
She will come back, and you're welcome to re-describe your blade if you would like.
I'm trying to remember. We used the soar wood, basically the light wood for this, as well as the flaming steel.
I don't think it was soar wood. I think it was dark wood, right? So it is light. It is lighter, but also much harder.
It's dark wood, and it's the burned steel, whatever.
Yeah, the flame touched or whatever the steel, yeah.
Yeah, but like the color of it's burned steel, like the multicolored steel color.
Mm-hmm.
That looks sick as hell. I love when my screws with that color. I don't know, I just love it.
Want to post an image of the burnt steel look into spoilers chat, please, Sel?
I can do that.
Go ahead, Nick.
It looks fantastic.
I don't think we've actually fleshed out the actual drawing of it, but I imagine it's got the artistic filigree of again a Kametori going up and screeching and the blades coming out, and it looks like it's breathing fire, and it's however you would envision that, like an old school like Naginata kind of, but more of think of like Guan Yu's like massive glaive. That's how I picture it in my head anyway.
Yes, Guan Yu. That's a name that all of us know.
Well, if you're a gamer and you like any of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms games, or their crappy fighting games, I'm trying to think, Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know of Fantasy Warriors. I think I played them a little bit, but I don't remember any of the names.
And that's Warring States period Chinese like lore. Guan Yu. That's some good stuff.
Mm-hmm. No,
I
remember playing a little bit, but I don't remember because I made references to that game before, but I don't remember any like that. That's a long ass time ago. So, but anyways,
But this one's magical, so I'll when I grab it and present it, I'll
It
ignite the
ignites.
blade. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A shroud of flame.
The
That's not
flame
scary.
igniting on there actually elicits a reaction from everybody around you.
It's
One
a
of
magic
those things,
weapon.
yeah. Whereas people, oh, as they look over and see it, and kind of see that happening. You can actually, there's a moment where it gets everybody's reaction. It's almost like the reaction that you once used to get from the crowds a long time ago, Varix. You know, but you're kind of like Thor after, you know what I'm talking about.
He's chubby. He's vacation to Thor.
Nope.
That's fantastic. And
Nope.
he's getting back.
He
into
might
the
have
shape
put on
of
a few
things.
pounds, but he's still Thor. All right?
True. No, that's like that's Varrix's life. He left the Barren Lands and lived in the lap of luxury.
Buddy, Verix is very well in shape, thank you. All right. For a 70-year-old man.
Yeah, a 70-year-old man that doesn't age.
That's right. All his curves are beautiful. Okay, it's not body shame
Thank
here.
you. True.
You stop
wrong.
aging at an orcish 18.
Yep.
That's like prime age for an orc, whereas like for a human it's like 23. It's like prime age for an orc.
That's
You're
the
like-
fastest prime.
You're like somebody that could just keep going to the Olympics and it doesn't matter.
He's just Arnold but if Arnold right now still went to the Olympics.
Arnold. That man was creepy looking. All those big heavy weightlifters, they're creepy looking. You're like, you have muscles in places that I didn't know existed in my body.
Like the muscles expands like the body width. It's insane. It's
Yeah.
weird.
You're like,
It makes it like you know what I mean?
It's because they're not supposed to exist. But steroids.
Muscles on top of the muscles.
yeah, exactly. It's like muscles cubed.
So I'll make a good show of displaying that and being like, yes, this is the power of the Southern Alliance, and there's much more to come.
He bows a mild bow to that. And then responding would be what's your
Agrab.
Agrab, thank you. Agrab says, the South has its might, and as does every individual clan, and the union between multiple clans. I'm glad we were able to come to a degree of understanding, or at least soon will. I'm looking forward to
Agreed.
having your emissaries meet with mine.
Absolutely. As neighbors and fellow Southerners, it's good to be cordial.
She nods and she says, after the details are seen through, if there's an understanding that can be had, I'd be more than happy to meet in person to solidify the final understandings. He, of course, gets quiet at this point. Go ahead.
I say, excellent. Now, it feels like there's been a little too much of the politicking. I think if I don't get to those bacon wrapped scallops,
Barracks might eat them.
Barracks is going to plow through the last of the kingdom supply.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
She kind of goes off and does her own thing. I imagine you unignite your big magical weapon. A couple of the other clans will come over and ask questions about it, so on and so forth. You guys can take an opportunity to roll a diplomacy check to try to have an impact on them.
Should I roll it and then Nick aids?
Each of you individually,
Okay.
including Varix. Or she's like,
A solid 5, boys.
No.
7?
We got 8 these. We're so awful.
We haven't broken the curse yet, Nick. I rolled a 5, you rolled a 7. Can Aaliyah roll? I figured not. Can she aid me?
If you want to use that ability, if you want to use her special ability.
Oh. Barracks or Jake, that's fantastic. No, I don't. I'm saving the Winifreds for like the main event. Okay, this is the side event, Joey. I don't want to use strength. Okay, my strength's 11. Okay.
Okay. They come over, and you guys are actually able to make a degree of impression against them with, you know, kind of like the might or whatever that you have. Jake, of course, just being like, yeah, I'm the Ashen Orc. That's me. And then you being like, look at this finely crafted thing that I've created. I'm so awesome. Look at me. I'm the best. And then he's sitting there and being like, mine. Awesome. So why don't we take a quick little break, and when we come back, we're gonna have a fun thing is about to transpire. So we'll take a quick little break, and we'll come back and see what is what. So see your faces in just a minute, and be back.